Do you want to see in the dark like a superhero? TNVC.com is your source for the finest night vision devices and accessories to make you the bump in the night.
Welcome, Internet, to another ARFCOM review. I am Josh. I do most of our marketing stuff. This is Paul. He's a veteran of CSGO. And then this is Taylor, and he is a secret member of NWO. Go look it up if you guys need to know.
Back in
So we are part of AR15.com. It is really cool. Google it. It's the center of everything that has to do with two-way things on the internet.
I consider it the front page of the industry.
Yeah. That's what Daddy would say. So today we are reviewing the Holosun 507 Comp standing for competition.
or COMPelicious, depending on how you like to party.
Depending on how delicious you feel. But this is a new thing as of 2023. It should be out on the shelves right now. You should be able to buy it as you're watching this.
If you can find it.
I was about to say, this is probably going to go pretty quick. This is going to be one of those things that you get on an email send and try to get it when it's in stock or whatever. God bless all the people doing fulfillment for this. But after SHOT Show, this was probably one of the top 3 optics coming out of Holosun that people were like sweating. Like hard. I was sweating them hard to try to get our hands on one of these because I think this is going to be probably one of their most, in the same way that the 507K was by far one of the most successful models, I think this will be up there with their bread and butter as far as, and really it's interest. Red dots on pistols come from the competition world. If some random Delta Force guy did it first, the people that made it widely and broadly available were competition shooters. And we wouldn't have the adapter plates and all this stuff and Dr. Optics, and none of that stuff would have made it to the civilian world if it wasn't for competition shooters. Nor do I think the market would exist without it. Maybe we would have gotten to this, but it'd be 50 years from now as opposed to it happening right now. But the spicy thing about this is, it's huge.
Huge. Tremendous. You better
Super
believe
huge.
it. All my friends tell me it's the best.
But it's also MSRP of $435, and as of today, as of July 5th, I have seen it for as low as $369.99.
That's legit.
Make your jokes in the comment section below. Hey, giggity. But I was really impressed that they were able to get the features that you have in this red dot at this price point and not have it suck.
Mm-hmm.
That was my big. I was fully expecting either it's going to suck or it's going to be too expensive. That was the one. Like when I looked at it, I was like, "It's another red dot and a handgun." This is one of those weird magical moments where I think affordability meets something that's actually pretty awesome, and I think a lot of people will be pretty satisfied in.
Yeah. Footprint.
yeah.
What are we looking at?
Dude.
And I mean, the fact that it's on an RMR footprint, so it's on an RMR
You
footprint.
should just specify.
So 5 years ago, right, that was pretty much
That was
the only thing available, right? If the people were cutting slides, it's probably what it was getting cut for. So say you're like me and you bought one 5 years ago and you're like, oh, this is be a fun option to swap out. That's cool. I mean, it's going to take an adapter plate. Pretty much most things you're going to put it on are going to have an adapter plate.
I'll tell you what, even builders, a lot of the guys that are coming out, shout out to Frames and Receivers being free again and amazing. But a lot of people that came with pre-cut slides out of the factory almost across the board from mechanic all the way to Glocks that they were doing RMR cuts. So I think there's going to be a lot of people that are like, oh, well, I can put this on my gun without doing something weird.
And it's a whole lot bigger.
Grab the SRO. We decided what we had on hand was an SRO, which is one of the more popular optics. We didn't have a Romeo Max, but the size comparison right off the bat, you can just see how much wider this is.
Yeah.
Now, it's fairly simple to pick up the dot on an SRO. It's a big
Sure.
window. But for me, and I think consistency is key on a draw stroke, right?
Sure.
But every once in a while, I do come out a little cattywampus to the left. If I do come out odd, it's going to be off to the left a little bit. And the funny thing is like this window's big enough that I could see that, and it's so much easier just to make that tiny little adjustment because I already see the dot. I'm picking it up and seeing that like my draw stroke was garbage. So,
and I'll say the SRO, if all of your fundamentals are there, you have zero excuse to not see it. Mm-hmm. You can really screw the pooch on that guy and still find the dot. Like really one-handed, something weird. You're in the middle of falling.
You shot one of the OSD videos, so we have another channel, OSD. Check it out. We'll leave just comments in the description. But you ran a boatload of drills, shooting this one-handed in 105 degrees.
And I was able to,
And yeah, right, for both of us, it worked quite well. And the reason we decided to put it on the 226 here is because we already had the SRO on the Shadow 2.
Yep.
They're both double action, single action guns. So we figured, hey, that's a fairly decent comparison.
Yeah.
Let's kind of run these two side by side. And honestly, this thing ran great.
We have hard numbers on the size of this.
It is 1.1, and we're talking about the 507 Comptacular right now. So it's 1.1 inches by 0.87. And again, the width of the window is generally going to be speaking right close to the slide, right? We're putting a block on top of a block, so naturally they're going to pretty much line up the same. So compared to the SRO, width-wise is 0.89. So we're talking about a 0.02 of an inch difference width-wise. We're talking about height-wise, it's an extra 1/10 of an inch, right? It is definitely noticeable. We had some questions about who measured this, what they were doing prior to that. And, you know, it doesn't seem like when you put them side by side, it seems like the 507 is a lot bigger.
One of the nice features, well, depending, some folks may just use the dot, but this has 8 reticles and 10 brightness settings.
Yep.
8 reticles. When you started cycling through that, I was like, say, what
You're
now?
like, what? Yeah.
What are we doing here? Hold on.
It takes
So,
a good minute and a half.
2 MOA dot,
yeah.
but then it has several horseshoe options
Yep.
at, 8, 20, and 32 MOA.
Yep.
Like,
It's a lot.
okay.
That's a lot.
But now, most of us may not use all of that. I probably wouldn't. But I might use the 2 and the 8 together in
Yeah.
combination. So you can either do just the horseshoe or a combination of the horseshoe with the dot. So there's the 8 reticles, right?
What's cool about it though, I'm not a red dot person on handguns in general, and typically I'm like the less busy the better. It was incredibly crisp. Like I had zero complaints about crispness. I didn't have any complaints about refresh rate. As the dot would get to like the edges of the optic, one of my eyes would fail to seal it wholesale before I had any worry about distortion. Maybe some super snob is going to look at it and be like, oh my God, it's like 4% less crisp at the edge of it. I'm not picky enough to notice. Given the brightness settings and all of the reticles getting used, I had zero complaints. If the reticles suit your needs, it's too crisp for really what I think the price point is. That's what surprised me about it. I expected budget crispness for that, and I wouldn't have been mad about it. I'd have made a comment about it, like, see, this is why I don't use the fancy reticles. And we talked about this, if you're shooting at range or at distance or for competition, that you're really just looking for A-zone hits. You're not
I mean, that's where
trying
I
to
would
stack rounds. Yeah.
more than likely I'd probably be using the 2, but I could see myself like on a really bright day. Now, it seemed to hold up in really bright days. We're in Texas. It's super sunny. We're shooting into the sun. Didn't have any
104.
issues picking it up. But if I wanted just a little bit more, I'd probably use that 8 MOA circle because I'm not going to be shooting beyond 25 yards in most matches around here. So then you got this nice big thing, put it in the A zone, send it, right?
This is night vision compatible. It does have 2 settings for that. And then it does take a CR1632 battery. It's got a little side tray. And it claims to 50,000. It's kind of now the industry standard, 50,000 hours on setting 6. So not like full send it, but bright enough for normal use. And then weirdly enough on this, it's got a 10-minute to 12-hour shake awake feature.
I found that strange.
Which and we talked about this off camera that maybe it makes more sense for like a bedside gun that's really not going to move that much.
10 minutes to shake weight's pretty good. 10,
yeah, exactly.
10 hours to shake weight's
That's a lot of shake weight.
I hear a button.
It's like a tactile.
Oh,
click
it's
on
really
and
nice.
click off.
It's really nice. I will say I like the finish on the Trijicon, but
do.
I mean it's not like on the Holosun. It's bad. It's
consistent
just,
to all their
consistent.
products.
It
just
is.
like
It
battery
really is.
door,
Yeah.
reticles.
Yeah. If you have one and you like it, you're probably gonna like this too,
Yeah.
right? If
You're going to get 1 MOA adjustments. I think that's adequate for a pistol. If anything, it's kind of annoying when they're like, we're going to give you 1/4 MOA adjustments.
yeah, I wouldn't want
Like,
quarter MOA adjustments on a dot.
Why would you do that? Most handgun ammunition's not that precise, not to mention, the optic itself. But I think, if this does just as well as the 507K did, this is an absolute home run, I think. And that's saying a lot. Do I think, could you make some arguments on maybe build quality or finish or whatever? Maybe down the road you could make those discussions because, again, the SRO's been in existence for forever. The RMR's been in existence for forever.
Yeah.
And in hard use cases, right?
Totally.
But given the current track record for Holosun, if that holds up even half as well as the expectation's probably going to be for it, I think it's a winner
My curiosity is
competitions,
really
yeah.
that typically competition shooters are sending a lot of rounds.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see at which point these dots do start to fail. If every dot's going to fail eventually, that's a lot of recoil. That, but I am curious because again, competition shooters tend to shoot a lot, practicing a lot, going to matches. Each match is several hundred rounds. I'm curious to see if we'll see anything, and I imagine we will. If it does happen, we'll see it online.
And how that mileage varies and kind of what their feedback's going to be, because these really are the people that'll tell you, like, truly. These people are telling you what the
and honestly, if the
limitations
difference is like
are,
40,000 rounds to 50,000 rounds, but this is half the price, and that's the other thing.
Yeah.
If I'm going to go shoot competitions, I'm going to want to have a backup gun. If I'm shooting carry optics, I want to have
the same
exactly.
Optic. Yeah.
So at that again,
I think
that's
it makes
almost
a lot of
it's
sense
literally
there.
half the price of a Romeo 3 Max. So
yeah.
2 for 1.
And like I said, if it's 100,000 round difference, fine. Go get the SRO, be happy, and buy runs, quiet runs.
And how many people are actually putting 50,000 rounds through their gun?
The other caveat, and I've noticed this, that you're starting to see in law enforcement circles, you're starting to see a lot more people carry optics, and I was surprised how many times you would see Holosun, because they get government budgets. They get to buy whatever the heck they want. But that being said, they're also going to be budget minded. They're going to say, well, I could buy.
We have to buy so many of these.
Yeah, and they have to have backups of stuff. People didn't realize, it's like, yeah, we have 40 unused Glocks just sitting in an armory somewhere. I was like, well, if you get an OIS, that's evidence.
Yeah.
Now, or God forbid you break the thing, or that, again, if you're on SWAT and you're shooting the piss out of this thing anyways, they break and they want backup guns for reasons. And so, like, I'd be curious to see if it starts to fit that niche that really Trigicon has owned since the beginning of time on some of that stuff. So I'd be curious to see, now that they're making optics specific to those types of uses, I'd be curious to see how much of this, that market that this takes up, and then what their track record is, because that's really how you end up getting these reputations, how Glock got the reputation they did.
Taylor, anything to add?
We all liked it. In an honest, don't like a lot of things. Didn't know how much I was going to like about it. I already own an SRO. I've got an RMR that I honestly would consider replacing with that, just to put it on something else. It's not coming off of it,
Yeah, if you already own an SRO, I don't know.
And of course, I mean, there's going to be brand loyalty for a lot of folks. But if you're in the market for a big old window dot,
you could do
this
worse.
is out there. It's $370. That's a great price.
Yeah.
Hard to beat.
Is it right for you? I don't know. You have to make that decision for yourself. But there's
only way you're going to know is you go handle one.
Yeah. And if you have some mileage on one of these, go ahead and put that in the comment section below. If you like the way that we did this review, tell us about it. If you hated it, actually tell me about it more. I'd like to know.
I will crush you like that.
But go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel if you guys want to see more of this type of stuff. Or we're going to be putting these things out weekly. Got a bunch of stuff in the queue already. If you're seeing this video, there's probably others that you haven't seen, so go check those out. How is the best way to support our channel?
Ooh, by supporting the sponsors. So support the folks who support us, and we will all be happy
They're
together.
probably somewhere down here.
In the doobly-doo.
In the doobly-doo.
Taylor?
We're on a quest for the Holy Grail. If you can come by Instagram, ar15.com, look at Josh's memes, look at my post, go join our community Discord soon, and who knows, maybe there'll be some new channels popping up. Keep watching the news, folks. We need you.
Yeah, and then
Do your part.
Until next time, stay safe or be dangerous.
Everyone fights, no one quits.
Wolverine!